we're saying in the prayer, the meaning behind it, the depth behind it. In Amidah, guys, חבר'ה. Okay, in Amidah, in Tefillah, in Amidah 18, we say something which sounds very, very interesting. In normal Hebrew and any other language, you don't say it like that. We say Elokeinu ve'Elokei Avotenu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, ve'Elokei Yaakov. We say the God, our God and the God of our fathers. Then it says the God of Avraham, the God of Yitzchak, the God of Yaakov. Why? What's the reason that we have these repetitive terms of our God? We're explaining right now the reason why we start the prayer off every single day. We say Elokeinu ve'Elokei Avotenu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, ve'Elokei Yaakov. Why? What's the idea? So there's an explanation we'll bring over here from a couple places which are collected in Chazal from the rabbis. These are considered Birkat Avot, the blessing of the fathers. אלוקינו אלוקי אבותינו אלוקי אברהם אלוקי יצחק ואלוקי יעקב, נוסח שמקורו בפסוק שאמר הקדוש ברוך הוא למשה רבנו כאשר בשר לו ביציאת מצרים, ויאמר עוד אלוקים אל משה כה תאמר אל בני ישראל. Where did this pasuk come from? The source of it, Chazal tells us, it's from when God showed himself to Moshe Rabbeinu and he told him regarding Yetziat Mitzrayim. So he told him, this is what you should tell the Jewish people. כה תאמר אל בני ישראל, השם אלוקי אבותיכם. The God, which God? The God of your fathers. אלוקי אברהם, the God of your father Abraham, Abraham. And אלוקי יצחק, and the God of your father Yitzchak, and אלוקי יעקב, שלחני אליכם, send me to you. That's what God told Moshe Rabbeinu, that when you go to the Jewish people, tell them regarding saving them, take them and rescue them out of Egypt, out of Mitzrayim, you should tell them this message. And that's what we do every single day. We open out the tefillah like this. And this, we ask the question, the rabbi's question, why do we have to say in every single Elokeinu have another separate way? Elokeinu, Elokei Avotenu, Elokeinu, Elokei Avotenu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. 5 times we say that God. We know, we understand. והלא הקדוש ברוך הוא כל הארץ יקרא. We should say, it'll be simple. ברוך אתה השם, אלוקי כל הארץ. The Father of the whole entire, the God of the whole entire world. That's it. We summed everything up. Why do we have to say this? Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. We can sum it up by saying the whole world. God said like this. We have to understand. There's 2 types of beliefs. 2 different ways of believing in God. One way of believing in God is Beirusha, it's called, inheriting. That means your father believes in God, that's why you believe in God. And if I'm going to ask you a strong question in belief, I can knock you off. Why? Because your belief is not with anything, with any intellect or base behind it. Rather, my father does it, so I do it. I never asked the question. I never checked or tested myself to see where am I holding with my belief. I believe, my father believes, I believe, my son. I don't know, if you're like this, it's not for sure your son's going to believe like you. This that you believe what your father did in this generation, not for sure the children. You have to do an extra effort for this. It's not enough they're going to say, okay, I just like I saw my father doing this, and I end up becoming closer to God. Not for sure the children are going to be like this also. And the second one is called Hakara Atzmit. Getting to the values by yourself. Understanding by yourself the belief in God. We're going to see the difference in the specialty, the pros and cons in each one. So it says, God said like this, הקדוש ברוך הוא, אפילו שאני אלוקי כל הארץ, לא ייחדתי את שמי, אלא על האבות ועל בני ישראל. Even though I'm the God of the whole entire world, I did not designate myself, rather for who? Only for the fathers, our forefathers of Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Bnei Israel, and the Jewish people. God says this whole entire world is so beautiful and amazing, but the whole reason I like and want to continue this world existing because of the fathers and the Ibn Israel, the Jewish people. Because what did Abraham Avinu do? He ran away. He went and explained to everybody What's godliness? Hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem, you guys are going to come to Shur on Shabbat. On Shabbat, it's going to be around 4 o'clock. Or now it's now Shabbat ends at Shabbat starts at 4:30, so it's going to be around probably 3:30 or 3. But Hashem is going to be very, very solid. Something to talk about Avraham and Ishmael, unbelievable. So I just remembered about that now. So I'm updating you guys right now. Don't miss it. It's going to be very strong, solid shiur. Now, the idea over here, Avraham went and showed and passed over the whole entire world and explained to the world what's godliness. And that was also, Yitzchak and Yaakov also got that characteristic from their father and grandfather. And that the Jewish nation from Avraham Avinu until now, we are doing what our father Avraham did, and we're basically we got an inheritance, this whole idea of nullifying ourselves in front of our Father, our God, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we accept Him as our King, and we always say every single day, even a couple of times, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. That God is, because God wants to make Himself one with us, we try our best to be one with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why He's called our God and the God of our Father. That I understand. Okay. But I don't understand why the God of Avraham, God of Yitzchak, God of Yaakov. I already mentioned a second ago the God of my fathers. This is a very strong question. I want to know what's the answer for this. And now over here we're going to get to the idea of what we said a second ago regarding emunah. There's two different types of emunah, two types of beliefs. One belief that you get an inheritance, like we explained, and the other one is from you getting it to yourself. And from looking and understanding with ourselves where we're holding, we can understand how could we pass it on to others, or even see if we have to do cheshbon nefesh to test with ourselves, see where we're holding if we have to work on ourselves. So now it's brought in the midrash that Avraham Avinu did not feel fulfilled when he was in the house of his father. He felt this is not real stuff. His father, according to the Midrash, had a story of idol worship. So he said, how could it be that my father's going to chisel something out of rock, and this thing that he chiseled out of rock, he's his God? Doesn't make sense. And he had a problem with it. And he started looking around day and night, trying to figure out who is the Kadosh Baruch Hu, what's God, what's the thing that what's running the world. There's a whole story. He sees the sun first and the moon. But it can't be that all these gears in this watch are moving by itself without someone putting them together for a reason. Doesn't make Avraham Avinu was smart. Now, and that's how he went forward day by day until he got to where? He got to the truth. He got to the point of truth. והגיע למסקנה כי הקדוש ברוך הוא ברא את העולם כולו ומנהיגו ביחיד ואין זולתו מאז החל לפרסם באלוקות בכל מקום בכל פינה. The second that Avraham Avinu recognized this, that God is the one that created this whole thing, not these stones and rocks that people bow to, and there's one true entity. And then he went in every single place he went, he wouldn't stop only talking about God, explaining and being mefarsem and telling and teaching everyone who is the Kadosh Baruch Hu, who is God. Now, what age was Avraham Avinu when he discovered the Kadosh Baruch Hu, when he discovered God? Regarding the age that Avraham Avinu got to this understanding, there's a couple midrashim. One says, Ben Shalosh Shanim Ikir Avraham et Boro, 3 years old. One midrash. And other places says, Ben Arbaim Shana Ikir et Boro, 40 years. And another midrash says, Ben Arbaim Ushmona Shanim Ikir et Boro. In the age of 48, he recognized who his God was. See, 3 opinions. Now, usually say 3 opinions. Okay, they're arguing, each one has their sources, but they're not. You can't say each one of them walk on the same path. They're different. But no. It comes the view over here, it comes in Chazan, they explain what's the idea over here. That Avraham Avinu in the age of 3 understood that this world does not work without someone that runs this world. He understood there's an entity of God. And every single year he would add in himself a different level So when he got to the age of 40, he got to a very deep understanding what's God. And the age of 48, a much deeper understanding what's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what's God. So you know, even a person that learns Torah all day cannot say, okay, I understand what's God. You could easily throw, people that are sophisticated and smart, easily throw him off in certain questions. We're not talking about kfirah over here. We're talking about the different details of asking him, trying to see where is it, to try to extend his bitachon, try to extend his belief, or not bitachon, to extend his belief. If people are going to challenge him, he's not going to know how to answer them because he doesn't work on this muscle. He works on he works on everything else, but not on this. Avraham Avinu, it says in the Midrash, in the age of 40, he met HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How could it be? We said age of 3. In the age of 3, understood. But when he got to the age of 40, he got to a much higher level. In the age of 48, he got to a much higher level. Understand where he's holding in understanding the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And after Yitzchak was born, he taught him and educated him as a father to a son. What's the basis of belief? And Yitzchak Avinu is midat gvura. He has to understand stuff differently. Like we say always, there's people that understand things through love, so be it by love, learn it. Like, love, by the love of God, and love of people that serve God from fear. Pachad Yitzchak, right? Yitzchak Avinu was gvura. He was different from his father. Not Avraham, rather the Pachad Yitzchak. That's why he went, Yitzchak, it wasn't enough for him what his father taught him. He went out by himself and tried to look and figure out how does it work in his DNA. How could he understand the Kadosh Baruch Hu and God? That's what he did. And Yaakov Avinu, when Yaakov was born, Yitzchak educated him, and Yaakov had a different perspective also. And he went and searched and figured out for himself. And with time, it became that everyone has the built for themselves an understanding. But if you don't give yourself some depth to it, it's very empty, it's very shallow. And someone, a Jewish person that prays every single day, Shmona Esrei, 3 times a day, should want to understand what he's saying, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. Why is there's something that's general, there's something that's very, very private to each and every one of us. So we have to work on ourselves and our emunah to see where we're holding, where do we think that we believe, our belief stands like Kadosh Baruch Hu. We can finish off with this. כי נמצא כי אף יצחק ויעקב ספגו אמונה טהורה מילדותם והם לא הסתפקו בחינוך זה והוסיפו להתבונן בכוחם. We can learn from Yitzchak and Yaakov. Be like Isaac and Jacob. What does that mean? That they got on a silver platter understanding what's godliness, and they still went out and they looked for themselves to find it. Now we see over here that don't leave it at that. ובהמשך הדרך we see also דוד המלך מצווה שלמה בנו ואומר לו לא די באמונה שקיבלת ממני בירושה. What does he say? אלא דע את אלוקי אביך עליך להאמין ולדעת את השם ועל ידי התבוננות מציאות של הקדוש ברוך הוא בכוחות עצמך. What does that mean? משה רבנו, David HaMelech tells his son, King David tells King Solomon, tells Shlomo HaMelech, he tells him, דע את אלוקי אביך. Know who's the God of your father. He's the God of your father. Your father educated you, and you got in an inheritance who is God. But no, go and try to search and figure out. That's not enough. Be like Yaakov, be like Yitzchak, our fathers, that went and searched out what does God mean to me? How can I get into a better connection, to a stronger connection? Baruch Adonai Le'olam, amen.